Welcome to Camp Cookout Adventures. Join me for a night's camp up on Dartmoor while we observe the planetary alignment. It's going to be fantastic. Come along.
It's Camp Cookout Adventures. It's Camp Cookout Adventures.
Welcome back to Camp Cookout Adventures, everybody. You join me today up on Dartmoor. We're over the Oakhampton side, up the north side of the Tor, and this is Meldon Reservoir. It's a sensational day today. The weather is absolutely fabulous. The view, I've only just got here at the car park here at Meldon, and the view immediately is tremendous. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to make our way up to the Tor with the intention of having a camp down on Black Tor for the night. The forecast is really good, the skies should be clear, so I'm hoping to get some proper stargazing. We're on one of those nights where 7 of the planets are actually aligned, so I'm hoping to capture that on my DSLR Fuji camera. How high are we up here? Oh my god, have a look at that. Wow, this really is just an absolutely fabulous place. Gorgeous. We are going to start our little adventure today, our jaunt, by continuing up this way alongside the reservoir bank. I think we're around 3 o'clock at the moment, so we've got about 3.5 hours before sundown. I extended an invitation out to a couple of friends tonight, seeing as the weather was excellent to come up for a wild camp, but everybody's busy, unfortunately. But no matter, it's been a little while since I had a solo outing, and it's going to be a really good excuse to get reacquainted with my old DSLR camera. I used to take loads of photos, and funny enough, since kids I haven't really had any outings where I've gone out with it. It's going to be a challenge tonight because we want to do some photography of the stars. We've got 7 of our planets are in alignment at the moment. So, oh, got some midges around here. Thank goodness I brought the bug spray. So hopefully capture some of that on the old camera and get some good shots. So we're going out for a bit of a play. It's a gorgeous place, isn't it? Look. I'm literally just following the edge of the reservoir around. Times like these I really wish I had a canoe or a kayak. I do have a friend who's offered his if I want to give it a go, and I do plan this year during the summertime when the weather's looking really good is to do a couple of the Cornish rivers, and then hopefully we can pitch up a camp right on the riverside. But if I had a little kayak, how nice would it be to just go over there to that little island and set up camp there for a night. It looks gorgeous. Although I can hear a lot of honking out there from Canadian geese, and those are some grumpy buggers. So we may have a turf war on our hands. Such a nice day. How lovely. So we're just departing from the reservoir now. We're going to follow this side of it and hug our way up to Black Tor. We've got this beautiful valley here with all of these giant old growth trees within it, and this river that runs through is the West Oakmont. We're going to be overlooking this valley from Black Tor. It's supposed to be a pretty tremendous view. There we are Our first sight of Black Tor just up there. That's where we're headed. Sound travels like crazy out on the moor, especially on a cold, clear night. I wonder if we'll hear that lovely rumbling waterfall from the Tor. Be a nice backdrop sound to fall asleep to. Having to be really careful where I put my feet. Most of this dead grass is dry as a bone. However, it's deceiving because a lot of it is swampy underneath. We've got all these streams everywhere leading down to that Oakmont River, and it is surprising, even though it looks dry, you can sink into it quite easily. The last thing you want out here is wet feet, because wet feet mean cold feet and also blisters. No thank you. Well, we've made it up here. This is the summit of Black Tor. We've come from all the way down there, Meldon Reservoir, followed it all the way to the south side, up the end of it, past this valley running alongside the river, and straight up over all this rough moor, right the way to the top. My heart was pounding out my chest by the time I got up here. My pack's particularly heavy tonight. I'm carrying an awful lot of liquid because we got soup for dinner. I'm just trying to find now the best place to set up camp. There is really light wind tonight, but I kind of don't trust the forecasts anymore, especially since our last outing. I'm going to carry on to that rocky outcrop over there and see if I can find a nice level flat piece of ground to set up camp. Right, let's see what we can find. So we are on the highest point of the 3 points of Black Tor. This is the top peak, and I think this is where we're going to set up camp tonight. There's this nice little bit of level ground here just behind you where the camera is. There's a little rocky outcrop which is giving me a little bit of shelter from the wind. So we brought along tonight the old Vango Banshee, and last time I had this tent out on Dartmoor, which was my first time on Dartmoor, we got attacked by a fox because I packed delicious chicken and chorizo stew for a meal. Ate 3/4 of it, left a tiny bit in a bag in the bottom of my tent, and halfway through the night, about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I felt something tugging on the tent, which I thought was a cow munching on it because we were actually in the middle of a herd of cattle. But nope, to my mighty surprise, the next morning I woke up to find that a fox had bitten a hole in the side of my tent and stolen the leftovers of my chicken and chorizo stew. So I've not had my Vango Banshee out since then, but I have bought a tent repair tape which I've now patched the hole, so we'll give her a try tonight. Fingers crossed we don't get attacked by any other critters out here on the moor. It's time to get set up. That was a real strenuous hike up here. I'm a little bit sweaty, which has made my t-shirt a bit wet, which is not good because now the sun's gone down over the other peak over there. I've got a wet t-shirt, the wind's blasting me, it's still February, it's still going to be 1 degree, maybe -1 overnight, and I'm going to get cold rather quickly. So I'm going to get my other fleece back on. I took it off earlier because it was so toasty down by the reservoir with the sun out, and we need to get our tent here set up nice and sharpish, so at least I've got a bit of shelter out of the wind to dive in if I get particularly chilly. Oh. Right then, let's set up camp. Oh, there we go then. One Vango Banshee on the top of Black Tor. Handsome. It took me a minute or two to figure out how to set that one up again, but it's been a while. I'm sure going to miss the additional headroom to sit up like I had in that OEX Hyena. I think because it is getting remarkably cold now, that wind's coming in, like I said, my t-shirt has dried off a little bit. I am going to get myself comfortable before we start our cookout this evening. So you have to come join me in the tent for a minute. Haha. Well, welcome to my humble abode for the night up here. I am taking no chances because I anticipate it getting really cold. So what I've got, I'm just taking off my jumper just for a moment, help air out my t-shirt and get this sweat patch off my back dried off for a second. I've got these here Hot Hands adhesive body warmers. So they are air activated. I've used them a few times before up here on the moors, but what I have found, which really is the effective way of using them, is you need to give them some air. So the trouble is, because I've been so cold up here when I've been using them, I've slapped them on my clothes and then bundled up with a load of layers, which of course stops quite a lot of the airflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick one on my back, in the small of my back, on my inner fleece. I'll put one right about there, I think. And then I'm going to have one on my front. I'm just going to layer up on these things tonight. Help keep me warm from that Arctic weather we're currently dealing with. Give them a shake up. Right about there, I reckon. I'm going to stick some of these foot warmers on my feet. My toes got really cold up on Cheap Store last time we were up there. So that's where these little bad boys are going to go. And a two. Right, I'm just going to sit here and get all of my stuff all in order, while all of this lot has got plenty of air wafting around it. Hopefully get those pads nice and warm, and then it'll feel real good when I put my jumper back on. Right, it's time to get my sleeping system set up, I think. Right on, well that's the sleeping system all set up. What have we got tonight? We have got a high peak inflatable mattress. On top of that, I've got my Snug Pack Jungle blanket, which is an insulated blanket. It's really good for keeping you warm. And on top of that, I've got my Jura 2 sleeping bag. So it's looking rather comfortable in there. And once you're in there, it warms up relatively quickly. Wind's not too bad at the moment, and fingers crossed it stays that way. However, let's have a look at the view, shall we? Because we're getting towards the time where the sun is going down and all of the really nice interesting colours are going to start coming out. Oh, look. I reckon those colours are going to be coming in absolutely beautifully over the next half an hour. We are way high up here. It'll be a fabulous view. I'm looking forward to sunrise as well. It is a gorgeous location, absolutely magic. Can hear the waterfalls from the river down there as well. Absolutely stunning. Well, I'm going to have a little scout around the Tor here, find a suitable space to set up our trangia on a nice rocky flat bit, and cook up tonight's cookout. It's going to be an important one tonight, for reasons you will find out. Found a nice little sheltered bit here for a minute, and I am desperate for a cup of tea. So I'm just going to get my trangia lit. There we go, I think she's taken. Yep, handsome. Whack the kettle on, lad. Oh, much needed. Got a nice cup of chai tea for tonight with a little bit of oat milk. It is going to do a whole world of good. I'm going to get my cookout going a little bit later, probably after the sun's gone down, because I'm going to need that meal to give me some central heating as late into the night as possible. Ooh, yeah, the temperatures drop like crazy. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that cup of tea is doing a world of good. It's magic. It's really cool to see all of the cars running down the A30. You see the Shell garage over there, way in the distance. The A30 is like the lifeline of Cornwall and Devon, running right the way through the heart of them. The amount of times I've travelled across that road is hundreds and hundreds, and every time is an adventure, because it always means you're going out the county, whether it's popping up to London for a weekend away or simply to come up to Dartmoor. Oh, it's gotten really cold now. Obviously the temperature's plummeted since the sun's bid us farewell. So tonight's cookout is a little something that I've prepared at home, and the reason I say it's an important one is because it's more medicine than it is food, and it's a recipe that I want to share with all of you lot for when you're feeling a little bit under the weather. It is, of course, traditional chicken soup. I've been feeling a little bit run down of late, and to be honest, I've just been craving a little bit of what I like to call medicine. So this is your chicken soup, and it has got great big chunks of chicken in there alongside really hearty, nutritious broth. It is going to get me through this night, that is for sure. Get on there, you beauty. And pop the lid on. But yeah, really important recipe. Essentially, you're going to need 1 whole chicken, 2 large brown onions, a whole bulb of garlic, 5 sticks of celery, 4 medium to large carrots. So you literally chop up all of those ingredients, smash them in a pot, remove all of the skin from your whole chicken, because that's just going to rend out as fat, which you'll have to then separate, so it's easier to just skin it before you put it in your pot. Whack all the ingredients in the pot together with about 1.5 litres of water. You're going to want to add 2 chicken stock cubes or stock pots. I like to put in a little bit of Dijon mustard, add some fennel seeds, plenty of salt and pepper for seasoning. You're really going to want to season it well. And I add a little dash of turmeric as well to give it a really nice yellowy colour. So I cook that on the Instant Pot, high pressure, for 1.5 hours. And once it's all stewed together, you want to remove the chicken carcass from the soup, pick out all of the bones, blend up the veggie soup and the chicken stock together before adding back your chicken flesh. That way you get this really nice creamy soup with nice chunky bits of chicken in there as well. To finish it off, obviously taste test it so that it's to your liking, but I like to add at the very last bit before serving up a healthy dollop of double cream. Just binds it all together, makes it extra luxurious. But that's about as nutritious a meal as you're ever gonna get. If you're feeling rough, make yourself this soup. It will get you back to health in no time. You can serve it with pasta if you want, like chicken and noodle soup, or you can add additional veggies if you feel you need the extra nutrients. But I'm just going to have mine tonight with a nice white buttered roll for dippings. Yeah, go and have a quick close-up of my soup here, my medicine pot. So all of those ingredients, they all got blended up together. And the beauty of pressure cooking it, of course, is that you get all of the collagen and all of the marrow and everything out of the bones, so it's a proper chicken bone broth, as well as getting all of those nice beautiful chunks of chicken flesh in there. Do you see that? It's really good, and I swear to you, you have a big bowl of this and it will make you feel a heck of a lot better. Bubbling away beautifully there. I reckon that's a good temperature to start gnashing on it. Get my pot up. Oh, wonderful. Pop that on there without scolding myself. It's a big cauldron of goodness. And we've got the lovely flame to keep us company as well. Oh, there we are, ladies and gents. Be a proper potion it is. Reminds me of Asterix and Obelix, which funnily enough essentially was just tea leaves. I remember when they were in Britain, I used to read the comics all the time, and they went and visited the British barbarians fighting against the Romans, and they shared with them their secret potion that Getafix used to make. And I always used to laugh because the Brits always used to like it with a spot of milk in it as well. Cheers, everybody. Hot, hot, hot. Just what you want. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a big old chunk of chicken. I'm going to put it in there. Whoa, a big old chicken soup sub. Look at that, eh? Whoa, dripping in goodness. Fabulous. I do like to eat well here on Camp Cookout Adventures. Well, I've been hanging out here now for about 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours, messing around with me DSLR, doing some long exposure shots and having a play with painting with light and all the rest of it like I used to do back in the day. I think I've lost my knack for it a little bit, but I've had some good fun. The stars are absolutely sensational tonight. There's no point in me filming it on the GoPro because I know it simply won't come out, unfortunately, but yeah, I haven't seen this many stars in the night sky for years. It's just the benefit of having this this black sky area where we're miles away from any towns or cities or anything with all the light pollution. But it is just breathtaking. I've seen a few satellites shoot overhead, super speed, so quite eerie to watch them actually. But yeah, the cold's got into my bones now, especially my fingertips. So I'm going to go and dive on in the tent, see if we can get it nice and warm in there. Try and get some sleep for tonight. The time is 9:45. It's not that late, but it's just as well because I'm actually very tired. That walk all the way up here to Black Tor from the car park at the reservoir is over 1,000 feet incline. So we've done quite the elevation working our way up here, and my pack did weigh rather a lot this time, carrying 2 and a bit litres of water, plus it had to have been at least 1.2 litres of soup and all the rest of the stuff. So it was a heavy old pack today. I definitely feel worn out at that last little bit of the jaunt up here to the Tor, going through the long grass and the boggy swampy stuff and up the side of the Tor itself. That was really took it out of me. So I'm gonna try and get a good night's sleep tonight. I got a funny feeling that we might be all right, you know. Yeah, recharge my batteries well for a bit of a hike tomorrow all the way back. I think we're going to take a different route back, but we'll see how we feel in the morning and what the weather's doing. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, everybody. Good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Cheers. Good morning, everyone. We have woken up to an absolutely stunning day out here on the moor. It was a really cold night last night, but there was no wind and it was dead calm. You can see all the frost is built up on the outside of my tent. Kettle's just boiling up now. Desperate for a hot drink. Gonna try one of these Rave coffee bags this morning. Let's see how they fare. Look at that. Works just like a tea bag, it's just got coffee in it. Get in there, you beauty. Not the healthiest breakfast this morning, a bit of a sweet one. Got Australian Tim Tams, which are like double chocolate dipped bourbon biscuits. They're a bit fabulous, they're a bit addictive actually. And a nice chunk of cherry Madeira cake before we set off over the moor. We couldn't have asked for better conditions last night. It's so rare to get a night out on Dartmoor when the sky is completely clear and there was barely any wind. Really grateful for that. We've woken up to an absolutely sensational day today. It's clear, got no clouds in the sky, there's been no mist. Well, that was a fabulous night's camp. All packed up, ready to go back now, headed towards the reservoir. So we're going to make our way back across the moor. We came up from the valley at the south of the reservoir last night, and this time we're going to follow that ditch down there. Have a bit of an alternative way back. I just had a little chat with a lovely chap called Charles and his little 6-year-old Alfie, and they camped out on the middle peak of Black Tor. There's 3 little rocky peaks to Black Tor, and I camped on the highest one, and those 2 were here on the middle one. And an absolutely tremendous chap and a really great little adventurer as well. It's wonderful to see. So if you guys do check out this video, Charles and Alfie, I think you guys are fantastic. Brilliant adventurous spirit out here on Dartmoor. Good on you. I didn't have any of my cheeky treats last night, so there was no alcohol and no cigars. So I've had my coffee this morning and I got a real hankering for a cigar as I wander down through the moor. Just enjoying all the little pleasures in life. Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. We'll be careful underfoot here. Across this line. That is a very naughty and delicious treat. Handsome. So many skylarks out today. It's beautiful singing away on the way home. I tell you what, I feel absolutely supercharged today. I slept really well last night. Not every camping trip are you going to be able to capitalize on a good night's sleep, but when you do finally get one, it does a whole world of good. Instead of coming home absolutely trashed with big baggy eyes, I'm going to come home today with a spring in my step. And there we are, back at the north side of the reservoir. Ladies and gents, thanks so much for joining me on another adventure here at Camp Cookout Adventures. I do hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you'd be so kind, please hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys on an adventure really soon. Cheers everybody.